chosen partners for delivery for the water companies were consultants for design and contractors for the work. So they actually chose the partners to deliver the work needed that they needed to get through within a capital spend programme. And basically, suppliers were seen as people there to reduce the prices, to be treated as a commodity relationship, and we're going further and further down the supply chain. And I think the low point came for me in February of 2007 when I attended the industry annual dinner we have in London. I invited a lot of fellow or directors of our customer base. They came, and I found myself struggling to engage with them in terms of meaningfully in how my company can help them with our product solutions to the point where they actually wanted to engage with me in a serious way. And that was an issue we had throughout the business. So we started work, I think, in April, May of that year with Ian and Breese. And I guess we had a little bit of a shock because we were doing many, many things wrong. And some of the learning we had from the value wheel was that when we looked at our engagement map in the industry, it was all left. We were dealing with storemen, purchasing coordinators, engineers in charge of projects, contractors on site, and we were nowhere near the executive suite at all. And we've done a number of surveys, as you do, in terms of what the customer perception of us was, and certainly the feedback was we were arrogant. We did have a reasonably commanding position in the products that we sold to the industry, so that didn't help. There was not a lot of competition within the iron pipeline business, although there was a lot of more competition for substitute products. And I guess the main interface with a lot of the water industry was about price increases. It was about things important to us, about what's the volume and can you take it on time, and very little about value creation. And if anything, the interface was prone to actually destroy value rather than increase value. And certainly our core commercial proposition and our new products, when we launched them, were not designed to demonstrate, capture or release value at all. In fact, when we had a new product launch, it was basically how unique is it, what are the benefits, what are the features, what's the cost of it, what do we think the price point can be, can we get more margin, and then we launched on the market with fantastic features, fantastic benefits. Very little thought to actually value creation. And in fact, customer value was totally ignored, and our value was undervalued. And basically, it was a communication of features and benefits, and we were specification salesmen and very proud, and we can have engineers eating out of our hand at a functional level, and we were quite very proud of that as well. So it comes as quite a surprise to admit this in the middle of first morning, but I think the light went on, and suddenly we realised that wrong contact, wrong language, and features and benefits are not value, which I think is probably something that a lot of companies have been through the value wheel process. And I guess it was even worse than that, because at the time we had absolute inbuilt key blockages to release value. The first thing was, I'll talk about this in a minute, we went through a fundamental restructuring of the business, and I mean a major one. We did many things at the same time, and traditionally good quality and good customer service levels deteriorated rapidly. And what we found, certainly when we were around the table discussing the value wheel of Thames Water, was the first one we did, is that whilst in the room there was tremendous product knowledge, tremendous application knowledge, we really didn't understand how our customer base were using and operating with our products. And also we had a poor understanding of what their their financial drivers were, and particularly in the new world where a lot of VCs, financial institutions now, were in charge of the businesses. And even though we talked about solutions, actually what we were selling was product. So I guess what we were doing, we were building a brick wall, not around the customer in terms of the relationship, but actually in the middle between us and the customer. And we're doing it very well as well. So what's changed internally within our business on the journey in introducing the value wheel? Well, I think the first thing is we have need to actually develop a really sound commodity value proposition. Forget functional and above the line and God, what's this thing called enterprise and churn in the future. We were really down to basics, and I think I'll just read out at this stage the actual value proposition that we came up with working with our people and in Ian. But basically it was, and again this was with Thames, we went to Thames and we said to them, okay, we have major issues here. And you'll see what they were in a minute. But Saint-Gobain will bring all the necessary resources to Thames Water to eliminate and acknowledge problems with service performance and communications, with a mutually agreed plan to ensure we consistently achieve our contracted levels of performance and rebuild trust between our organisations. And we put out a shit list that we shared with them, and we gave ourselves 3 months to clear it, and we actually did it in 2. So it was quite an exercise, starting right at basics. I went from being commercial director at the time to managing director in July 2007, and the first job I had was to really put the customer at the heart of the business. So we're going through quite a transitional journey within Saint-Gobain. And what we said was that with valuable principles, that we do no innovation whatsoever within the business, whether that was industrial, whether it was commercial, new product development, distribution processes, unless A, it improved the customer experience in terms of customer service, or B, we could articulate the customer value. And because up to that point we've been quite innovative, but just given the value away. Certainly one of the main themes that we've introduced in our transitional journey, which I'll show you in a minute, was we were going from not just talking about product, and I guess in losing some of our plants that may have helped in the transition, but to selling technical and business solutions. And we began to get new drivers within the business. Before it had been very much financial driven ratios, or volume, or downtime, or waste. We're beginning to actually have customer service orientated drivers. And also, rather than just celebrating the fact that someone got an order, or downtime decreased, or the volume was up, we began to get a concept of inspirational people and going the extra mile, both for internal customers and external customers. And above all, we realised that we needed a much far deeper understanding of our customer base. And we actually, I think the value wheel was a contributing factor to actually our journey, not just the vision, but also the brands, which I'll show you in a minute. So what changed externally? Well, the first thing was there was an emergent ability within the business quite early on to articulate business value, show me the money. And even though we're 22 months down the journey, we're just beginning to actually help the industry understand its future, which is interesting to see where we come from, not even the sound commodity value proposition. And I guess our ambition is, and how we articulate to our water company customers, is that through working with Saint-Gobain, we can release certainly increased capital efficiency, reduce operating costs, and help them with their new sustainability targets that Ofwat put on them for the new AMP5 period, which is a reduction of their carbon footprint by 20% by 2020. So, trying to bust that wall that we built between us and the customer. In November 2007, I launched the new company mission. It can be shown schematically like this, and it was a marathon, not a sprint, because we were a long way away from this, but our avowed aim was to be our customer's first choice. Saint-Gobain, with its key account ratios, financial ratios, that it expects of its companies, will never ever be the cheapest supplier. And therefore we have to be in a position to demonstrate to clients how, aligned with us, they can meet their aspirations better with us, overcome their issues better with us, and that we are the preferred partner. Our tangible objectives, for the first time, had a customer service index in there, and it's our second driver of the business after our health and safety. And for the first time, we put at the core, at the heartbeat of the business, a customer-centric view based on customer satisfaction, but also based on a deep understanding of customer needs. And we have 5 main themes, but certainly the value wheel interacted how we articulate our own team. Innovation only if we can show value, only if we can actually increase the customer experience. Not product anymore, technical and business solutions. We had no idea what world-class customer service looked like within our industry. We were starting from, let's just go back to where we were before the structural changes. And then key account management, how do we align our capabilities, our resources and our competencies to meet our customers' needs at all levels within their organisation. And above all, business is nothing else but people. How do we get inspirational behaviour? How do we make our salesmen be seen as business partners for our key accounts? And quite clearly, the tools we choose obviously health and safety, things like senior management audits, hazard spotting, etc. World-class manufacturing was already in place within our plants, but the value will still